I mean, I'm surrounded by idiots. Who told you that was a good idea? Who told you that that was a good talking point? Depression of voter, lack of engagement, lack of excitement is a big problem for the Democrats. It's what stopped Hillary Clinton. And here goes Joe Biden doing the same thing. And we got talking heads, some white, some black, some Latino, some Asian, some Native American, I suppose, all of them carrying water for Joe Biden, trying to minimize the utter stupidity and the offensiveness of his comments and how they can come back to bite him. Instead of admitting that he really screwed up and he really himself, they want to act like it's no big deal. Well, here goes Joe Biden responding to those comments once again. Dana Bass, CNN, check this out.
But you're still going to end up, as all the economists say, with an incredibly high unemployment rate and a lot of people in real trouble.
I want to ask you about the remark you made last week on the Breakfast Club. You said, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or for Trump, you ain't black.
Well,
now, you've since said that you shouldn't have been so cavalier. But during the same interview, you said the NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run, which isn't true. So my question for you is about what some supporters say they're worried about, which is that all of this could end up hurting the enthusiasm that you really need to win among black voters. Well,
first of all, it was a mistake, number one. And I was smiling when he asked me the question. I shouldn't have been such a wise guy with him. He was being a wise guy, and I responded kind. I shouldn't have done that. It was a mistake. I have never taken the African American community for granted. Never, never, never once. And I've had overwhelming support in my state and overwhelming support from the African American community in my whole career. But I have never taken it for granted. I work like the devil for it, and I have to earn it every single time. Nobody's vote should be taken for granted. That's what it conveyed, my response, and I've never done that. And if you notice, this all the time we were talking about in the primary. Well, Biden can't win because look what he did. He came in 99th or something in Iowa and New Hampshire. And I said, wait till we get to a representative state. I've had overwhelming support from the African American community my whole career.
They're going to be out there for you.
Well,
in the
no,
same
only
numbers
if I
or more?
earn it. I've got to make it clear why I think I deserve their look, why I deserve a look, and not just in comparison to him, but in comparison to anybody else running, anybody that would be running. And I've had. Look, the state you're sitting in here is over, it's the 8th largest black population in America. It's a percent of population. And I've gotten overwhelming support every time I run, but I've worked like hell because I work in the East Side. I work in all the things I care about. I work about the African American agenda, dealing with everything from making sure their houses are as valuable as the same white person's house in a white neighborhood. I'm making sure that we're working on education. I've been arguing for years that it's not fair. So I have to earn it.
You did make an effort to clean up that comment pretty quickly. It still got a lot of attention. President Trump says offensive things. He never apologizes for it. Is there a double standard here? And if so, is there a lesson for you in how to compete with him?
No, I'm never going to stoop to where he is. I'm not going to do what he does. He says so many outrageous things. And to usually divide, separate, the things he said about African Americans and women and across the board, Asians across the board, and he says so many of them that I was talking to a friend of mine today, a leader in the African American community, and I said, why is he going after Barack? He said, because it stirs up his base. Barack's a black man. I don't know what that's the reason, but all of a sudden Barack, most popular guy out there, and he's attacking Barack. What's that all about?
Well, I'm sure you've seen some Democrats have said, Mr. Vice President, stop apologizing. You're going to say dumb things. Don't apologize, because that's not the world we're living in.
Okay, so there's a lot here to unpack in the smackdown that you won't hear responded to on this corny-ass cable media. Do me a favor, share this content. Share this right now. Let people know that you're watching this show, because this is going to be a clinic on Joe Biden. First thing, when Joe Biden talks about all the support he gets from black folks in Delaware, first of all, he hasn't been a senator for almost a decade. Keep that in mind. So That's not something. He's not a politician right now. He's a guy who wants to be a politician. You're not a politician unless you hold office. You got to be holding office. He's not holding office right now. Okay? The other thing, all this black support that Joe Biden talks about having, let me tell you how Joe Biden got black support in Delaware. I live in Maryland. I'm from D.C. Let me explain this to you. Joe Biden outspent his competition like 4-1. To win in electoral politics is mostly about how much money you spent. If you have more money to spend, typically you win. That's like 85, 90% of the time. Joe Biden's hands are like cups. His hands has always been open to Big Pharma, the insurance companies, and Wall Street and the banks. He's always been able to raise as much money as humanly possible for his races. That's something he even bragged about back when he was a young congressman. He talked about, I did my best to sell my soul. I sold as much as my soul to these interest groups. He just wished he had more soul to sell so he could raise more money so he could be less breakable or unbreakable when it comes to elections. The other thing that Joe Biden has been very masterful in doing is paying off black people. Sort of like Michael Bloomberg. Paying them off with jobs, paying them off with favors, paying off by donations, paying off in support, paying off by campaigning. It's called quid pro quo. He's been doing, you do something for me, I do something for you. You do something for me, I do something for you. That's something Joe Biden is a master at doing. Okay? And once you get those black leaders to support Joe Biden, then they go tell their flocks, they go tell the voters, hey, vote for Joe. And typically, most voters who are uninformed just vote for the guy's name that they recognize. It does not mean people love Joe Biden. It should be also noted that Joe Biden never answered the question Charlamagne asked him, which was, why the hell should black people come out and vote for you? And don't mention Trump. He still hasn't mentioned that. He talks about his record. And when we bring up his record, he has no defense for it. Instead, he lies about being endorsed by the NAACP, who never, which Dana, thank you, Dana. Dana did her job. Dana mentioned it. You didn't hear Joe Biden refute it, did he? Dana Bash mentioned that the NAACP doesn't endorse candidates. Joe Biden looked into the camera, talking to Charlamagne, and said, every time I've run, the NAACP has endorsed me. They don't endorse candidates, so that's a bold-faced lie. Dana Bash said it wasn't true, and Joe Biden skipped it and went on with his word salady talk. But still, Joe Biden never answered the question why people should support him. Look, people get apathetic. They're like, man, politics don't work for me. What's in it for us? Why should we support Joe Biden? And just telling him that he's better than Trump is not a reason. That doesn't work, and it doesn't move people. It doesn't excite people. It just doesn't. When you're part of the social economic group that's on the bottom of the bottom, but when the average black family owns 1/10 of the wealth of the average white family, when you are in that condition as a people, you better be asking for some stuff. Damn shame anybody out there who doesn't understand that. When you are the lowest, see, if you were the lowest of the lowest of the low and you were asking for stuff, I'd understand. Who should be saying we need stuff? The people that's on the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. How do people not get that? My only concern and my only pushback is we should have been doing this from day one. We should have got behind a candidate, Bernie Sanders, the one whose policies were most helpful, way more helpful than Joe Biden, and maybe we could have helped him win. And then maybe, even if he didn't win, you still could have moved over to Biden. You still could do what you're doing now, but you should have got behind Bernie with the better policy to help change the condition of the people that you say matter, that I say matter, that we believe matter. But that's a story for another day. Okay? Then Dana Bash proceeded to lose all the credit that I gave her by pretending that there's a comparison between Donald Trump apologizing and Joe Biden apologizing. First of all, Trump never apologized to people he don't want votes from. He don't apologize, but how often does Trump offend the people that he wants to vote for him? He goes out of his way to cater to and hold up and promote the people he cares about that he know is going to determine his win or lose. Those voters, those core voters that Trump needs, He don't have to apologize to him. You know why? Because he's not dumb as Joe Biden to keep making gaffes and pissing them off and frustrating them and offending them and marginalizing them. Trump's not that stupid. If he makes the jokers on the stump, everybody laughs. They're not mad. When Joe Biden talks, he's pissing off the core group of voters that he needs to vote for him. So he better apologize, Dana. How stupid are you? I mean, I'm surrounded by idiots. Who told you that was a good idea? Who told you that that was a good talking point to mitigate this stupidity? Was it Roland Martin? Was it Joy Reid? What idiot told you that? Was it Bakari Sellers? What fool told you it was a good idea for Joe Biden for you to say, well, Trump makes mistakes. He don't apologize. He don't apologize because he don't make mistakes to the people that signed his meal ticket. Joe Biden does. Dummy. Big difference. Big difference. You apologize to the person who's paying the bills. You apologize to the person who can put you in office because you pissed them off. If you didn't say the stupid shit, you wouldn't have to apologize. Don't insult my intelligence.